Chapter 37. Robinson as a Teacher. From Robinson's Diary. I began to consider that having now 2 mouths to feed instead of 1, I must provide more ground for my harvest, and plant a larger quantity of corn than I used to plant. So I marked out a larger piece of land and began to fence it in. Friday worked not only very willingly, but very hard. I told him that it was for corn, to make more bread, because he was now with me. He let me know that he was grateful for my kindness and would work much harder if I would tell him what to do. This was the pleasantest year of all the life I led in this place. Friday began to talk pretty well, and understood the names of almost all the things that I called for, and of all the places which I wished to send him, and I was careful to teach him all the things I knew. I showed him how to plant and harvest corn, how to gather fiber, spin yarn, and to weave it into cloth. He learned these things quickly and became very skillful in making pots. He knew something about this because at home he had seen the women make them. He ornamented them with figures of birds and flowers. I taught him about the true God, but as for writing, he could never do much with this. I had no books, and could not make him understand the importance of writing. He began to talk a great deal to me. This delighted me very much. I began to love him exceedingly, he was so very honest and faithful. After I had taught him English, I tried one day to find out whether he had any wish to return to his own country, and as I talked to him about it, I saw his face light up with joy and his eyes sparkle. From this I had no doubt but that Friday would like to be in his own country again. This for a time made me sad, to think how eagerly he would leave me to be among his savage friends. "Do you wish you were back in your own country, Friday?" I said to him one day. "Yes," he said, "I'll be much glad to be back in my country." "What would you do there?" said I. "Would you turn wild again and do as the savages do?" He shook his head and said very gravely, "No, no, Friday tell them to live good. He tell them to plant corn and live like white mans." One day, when we were on the top of a hill on the west side of the island, Friday suddenly began to jump in the air and dance about in great glee. I asked him what the matter was. "Oh, joy! Oh, glad!" he said. "There my country!" The air was so clear that from this place, as I had before discovered, land could be distinctly seen looking westward. I asked him how far it was from our island to his country, and whether their canoes were ever lost in coming and going. He said there was no danger, no canoes were ever wrecked, and that it was easy to get back and forth. I asked him many things about his people and his country. He told me that away to the west of his country there lived white mans like you. I thought these must be the people of Central America, and asked him how I might come from this island to get among these white men. He made me understand that I must have a large boat, as big as 2 canoes. I resolved at once to begin to make a boat large enough for us to pass over to the land we could see lying to the west, and if possible to go on to the white man's country Friday told me about. It took us nearly 2 months to make our boat and rig her out with sails, masts, rudder, and anchor. We had to weave our sails and twist our rope. We burned out the canoe from a large fallen log. We used a great stone tied securely to the end of a strong rope for an anchor. When we had the boat in the water, Friday showed great skill in rowing or paddling it. He had managed boats ever since he was old enough, but he did not know how to handle a sail or rudder. He learned very quickly, however, to sail and steer the boat, and soon was perfectly at home in it. We made our boat safe by keeping it in the little cove at the mouth of the creek. I had Friday to fetch rocks and build a dock or place for landing. But the rainy season was now coming on, and we must wait for fair weather. In the meantime, I planned to lay by such quantities of food as we would need to take along. Chapter 38. Robinson as a Teacher.